I am a deflationist. And what happens when deflation comes? The central bank prints more money. And when the central bank prints more money, cryptocurrency goes up. It's a really simple mechanism. If you are ultra bullish crypto, what you actually want is rampant deflation. If you don't factor in a 50% correction, you shouldn't be in crypto. That's one. Secondly, unless you know what the hell you're doing, you do not use leverage. Fine. Those are the two simple rules. The rest is just hold on to your hats, expect the volatility, embrace it, because it gives you an opportunity to add to your positions. It gives an opportunity for the market to delever a bit, get rid of excess speculation that allows it to rise to the next level. But more important than that, I think a really big, important story, and I just tweeted about it just now. We just blew up $1 trillion of market cap of a major asset class in 14 days, 42% decline of an entire asset class. Some parts of that asset class went down 70 or 80% in a week and nothing happened. We had a massive speculative over-leveraged washout bloodbath. If that had happened in any other market in the world, there would be exchanges going under, participants going under, the Fed bailing them out, the system freezing, collateral freezing, funding freezing, lending free, all of that. Not one of those things happened. In fact, it worked perfectly because leverage, 100 times leverage, headline, oh my God, it's over collateralized. So guess what? Nobody was left holding the baby. There's no exchanges that didn't get paid their margin. It doesn't work that way. Had that happened in the stock market, Robin Hood will be tapping on the Fed saying, hey, listen, guys, we need some cash here because we didn't get paid on our margins. Doesn't happen in crypto. What about the rehypothecation of assets and the collateral? Doesn't happen in crypto because everybody knows who owns what, because it's all on the blockchain. In fact, lending protocols, DeFi, even decentralized exchanges run entirely by algorithms, continue to work. That's right. Exchanges went down for maybe an hour because of the overwhelming of their systems, but nothing broke. Nobody got caught holding the baby. Speculators lost money and the world moved on. That is, I can't express how big a change that is to the world. This is why I got into crypto in 2012. That's what I first saw about it when I was researching deeply, having just gone through the European crisis and the 2008, thinking this system cannot survive. It's too fragile. And I saw Bitcoin and blockchain technology and I thought this is anti-fragile. And we have just proven that in spades. It's amazing. I knew that from when I first got into it. My kind of OG was a guy called Emil Woods. And Emil and Chad Cascarella were hedge fund guys, ex-Goldman guys, who Emil got me into Bitcoin back in 2012 and taught me through blockchain. So he first got me into Bitcoin and then taught me through blockchain. And then he was invested in stuff like Polkadot. God, before I even understood anything about it. But I realized that there was different elements to this and the smart contract element. And then I started seeing, okay, and I've been writing about this for maybe 5 or 6 years. Okay, everything's going to get tokenized. But that was easy to say, but you couldn't asset allocate to it. What we saw was the rise in clear macro thematic. DeFi was one, which we kind of knew was coming. We didn't know in what format. But things like, the things I'm really bullish about are community tokens. I'm really bullish about the Ethereum network for the reasons you talked about. If you value it as a network effect, it is exponential. And I think the Ethereum network may end up being worth more than the Bitcoin network. That's not a slur on Bitcoin. It's just different thing. I just think that people say, oh, things are shit coins, these tokens, they're worthless. People have no understanding what an NFT is and what power that is going to bring to every business model that you can possibly imagine. So this is a macro fundamental shift. There are sectors within it. I don't think people yet understand the metaverse and where that is all going. They don't understand communities. They don't understand NFTs. They don't understand tokenizing IP, tokenizing real estate. They don't understand a lot of this yet. Because people are still saying, should I buy Bitcoin? Are the government going to ban it? Meanwhile, as you well know, there is a massive, massive new world being built out. So it was that realization that made me realize that I didn't want to own just Bitcoin and I didn't want to own just Ethereum. Now, I don't know what's going to win in this because some things need to get network adoption. But I know some sectors are going to see massive inflows of capital and massive revolution. So I'm happy to start allocating amongst sectors. I first approach it by buying a basket of altcoins outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, equally weighted, saying, oh, look, I don't know which is which. Do I know whether Solarium or Cardano or Polkadot, do I know? No, I don't know anything about them really. And it's not my job. I'm a macro guy. So I allocate to the space and say, I'll figure it out as we go, but let's get some allocation. And then I've started placing bets on things like exchanges, DeFi platforms, and the bit that's got my attention is the tokenization of communities and other business models.
How does the recent volatility impact inflows from institutions and corporations? Could this prevent many new entrants?
I don't think so. I think everybody knows that it's a volatile market. My guess is let's see how the recovery goes from this. If it goes quickly, you're going to see a blind panic. I know what people are like, right? If this goes back up quickly, there's going to be a blind panic. And quickly, I would say, if this is back to the highs in 2 to 3 months, there's a blind panic. So I think, again, the upside, everybody's short the call option and they're going to have to buy them back. So that's how I think about it. The worst thing for crypto would be an 18-month sideways range, because that would keep people out because they don't get FOMO'd in and it's not cheap enough for the value guys. So my view is the speed of the upside will bring people back in.
So another question, Bitcoin is considered by many an inflation hedge. And he believes that you may be more a deflationary proponent. Obviously, you can refute that if that's the truth. How do you expect Bitcoin to perform in a deflationary environment?
First, I don't think anybody understands what is inflation and what they're talking about. I'm not saying he doesn't understand what he's talking about, meaning what inflation they are referring to. Because there's two different things here. One is the debasement of fiat currency, which looks like inflation of asset price. The other is kind of demand-led increases in prices over time, which I don't see. I don't see monetary printing leading to excess consumption of corn or copper and stuff like that.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I am a deflationist. And what happens when deflation comes? The central bank prints more money. And when the central bank prints more money, cryptocurrency goes up. It's a really simple mechanism. If you are ultra bullish crypto, what you actually want is rampant deflation, not inflation. You want rampant deflation, because that is when the central bank balance sheet keeps expanding. And I think we're still in a deflationary world. And I don't think that's going away, and that's not gone away, which is why every cycle the Fed have to keep propping it up even after the recession.
Do you see this as, some of the places that you'll see more adoption, or do you see other sectors in digital assets that are causing more adoption over the course of the next few years?
Look, everything's got adoption curves, so which is again what makes it so powerful. But we've had two big things that had to happen for this mega adoption to happen, right? We had, firstly, mobile phone network. So pretty much most of the world is now saturated by mobile phones. Phase 2 is the data that we talked about earlier. And when 5G comes, even 3G is good enough, but 5G and the and satellite Wi-Fi means that you've now connected everybody. And so the adoption of digital money is obvious. And Facebook's going to drive this as well. Because you can be in Ethiopia, you can buy goods and services easily in US dollars that you have no access to. From a global vendor, you can send remittances to your parents in India from Ethiopia without any cross-border. I mean, oh my God. And that's just on the Facebook network, let alone all of the other crypto rails that are being built. So it's a game changer for emerging markets. It is a game changer for bringing people out of poverty and connecting them to markets and the exchange of value globally. It stops a farmer not getting access to prices. We've seen this in India, right? It's played out in India, but not with necessarily blockchain, but with their massive digital infrastructure, the UPS payment system and UPI payment system and stuff like that. Is basically you've got everybody in India on a mobile phone now with pretty much the cheapest data on earth. And now farmers are able to find localized market pricing so they don't get ripped off by middlemen. And so what it's doing is allowing profits to flow, less corruption going on. That gives them more money. They're now getting instant access to bank accounts. They're then able to transfer money. This whole thing balloons. And India is going to be the great example, but it's going to help everywhere. Countries are going to be able to mature at a much faster rate than we've ever seen in history. Doesn't mean the governments will mature, but people will.
What do you see as the top 3 risks that could potentially hamper the growth of the digital asset space?
I think the lack of expansion of the central bank balance sheet at some point in the next year or so will cause a slowdown, as it generally has done, because there's less pressing need to have your money shielded from that central bank balance sheet. So I think that is one thing. I think the rise of central bank digital currencies is on balance a good thing, but it depends what mechanism. I've talked about the biggest risk to me is not regulation, it's not banning, it's not any of these things. It's actually if the central banks got their shit together. If they created a global coin, and to be a member of global coin basket, you could only increase your money supply by 2% a year. Well then, sure, we understand that governments are governments and they'll renege on their word, but if that lasts for 10 years, makes crypto adoption for Bitcoin perspective less valuable, but it explodes all the other side. This is the thing about, we talk about things and people think about Bitcoin always, right? Well, we don't need the money then, the store of value. Well, I'm sorry, but Bitcoin is going to be dwarfed by the rest of this digital asset space. It's going to be much bigger because every business model on earth is about to be disrupted by all of what's going on. So even if Bitcoin itself doesn't go up, we will see a massive expansion in the space. Now, I understand that Bitcoin is the anchor asset and things revolve around it. Will that always be so? I don't think so, but maybe. Like the S&P is the anchor asset to world equity markets. That's okay, but it doesn't mean you're not going to have tons of opportunities. And exactly, again, without blowing your guys' trumpets, but that's why stuff like ARCA becomes very interesting over longer term cycles, because there will be points when projects have value and the market won't realize it because it's worried about Bitcoin going up and down. But that's the time when you guys have to do your homework. And that's good because there will still be alpha to be generated doing that. I strongly believe in that.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.